Hello, everyone, and welcome to MT4 Professional. Today's webinar is on trading strategies using the MT4 Professional Scanner. I'll be going through this presentation today and give you opportunity to have live question and answer after the presentation. Before we get started, I want to make sure everyone knows that we are here for educational purposes only, that MT4 Professional and Resilient Traders are not an investment advisory service. We're not registered trading advisors, so we cannot give you any specific trade advice. But what we can do is train and teach you how to use our platform and our software to develop a trading plan that is both consistently profitable and successful. Trading with futures, stocks, forex options, cryptocurrency has a large potential for reward and you can make a lot of money, but there's also a large potential for risk and you can lose a lot of money. So please, you need to be aware of the risks involved and be willing to accept them in order to trade or invest in any of these markets. Do not trade with money that you cannot afford to lose. Past performance is not indicative of future results, so make sure that you get advice from a competent financial advisor before you start trading or investing in any of these markets. And make sure you never trade in a live account until you have first proven that you can consistently and profitably trade in a simulated account. And only then will you be able to start on the mind game and the psychological aspect of trading, which is really the hardest part of trading. I am Randy Lindsay, your trade coach and operations director here at MT4 Professional. Joining me in the background is Claudio Cardinal. He's our product development director and technology guru. Together, we make resilient traders, and we are here to help you learn our system and platform and to teach you how to set it up and use it in live trading. Today, we're going to talk about trading strategies using MT4 Professional, what a market scanner is, what MT4 Professional is. I'll go through a live demonstration of the platform, and I'll make you a very special offer if you're still here by the end of today's presentation. And of course, throughout the presentation, if you have a question, then on the GoToWebinar control panel, there's a questions panel. Enter your question or comment there. I'll be more than glad to get to them in the order that they are received. All right, let's start. So there are many popular trading strategies that are being used today. A lot of them are used by a lot of our clients. The EMA and price is probably the most popular one. The simplest and easiest to use. It's a pure price action strategy where you're using an exponential moving average as your baseline. And as price interacts with that baseline, it's bullish or bearish based upon whether it closes above or below. The MACD and signal is also a very popular strategy. It's free on most platforms, on pretty much any platform. It's looking at moving average, convergence, divergence, and a signal line, which is a moving average of the MACD. And so when you see a large divergence or convergence, either way, cross a signal line, then you get a signal to either buy or sell. Now, these is a good indication of determining trend direction. So it's a strategy that a lot of our traders like to employ with other strategies as well, like the moving average crossover. It's a trend trading strategy as well, where you have a slow moving average and a fast moving average, and you're looking for the cross of the slow and the fast to determine trend direction. You can have more than two moving averages, and that gives you a specific desired result, like the alligator strategy, which is a longer term swing type strategy that's been employed and is very popular amongst alligator traders themselves because it provides swing type trading timeframes for 4 hours, half day, or full day and week type charts. And then you can always combine any of these into a custom strategy like an EMA and price with a MACD and signal entry and exit location. EMA and price is used as the trend direction, and the relative strength indicator, the RSI, identifies whether you're overbought or oversold, and it helps you to exit the trade at optimal times. And so a lot of things can be built and put together to define a strategy. And what I'm here to show you today is that MT4Professional Scanner can scan any of these real-time strategies and many, many more, of course, and alert you when the conditions are met for a trade entry or exit. So I want to run a quick poll real quick just to see how many of you are currently using MT4Professional. So if you're currently using it, then welcome. Thank you for being here. If you're not, let us know if you haven't had time to try it, or you want a little bit more information, you're not sure if you really need it or not, or if you're just not even interested. And if you're not interested, then what are you even doing here? Well, that's kind of a question. I know you're interested, but it's just a poll. So let me know. It helps me to gauge my presentation, and that way I can give you some specific feedback on that. So let me know what you think, and I'll be glad to go through that. All right, got about 15 more seconds, and I'll go ahead and close the poll out and share the results with you. So far, it looks like about a third of the class don't really have time to try it, but 2/3 of the class are current users. So let's go ahead and close that down now, and I'll share the results with you. So you can see right there, 2/3 of the class are already using it and love it so far. 1/3 have not had time to try it, but hopefully after today's presentation, you'll not only be able to try it, but you'll know exactly how to use it. All right, so let me get my thing back up again. There it is, and there. Good. All right. So what is a market scanner? Well, what is MT4Professional? Again, if you have any questions along the way, don't hesitate to ask. Use the questions pane on your GoToWebinar control panel to answer your question. I'll be able to present that to you there. So if you look at MT4, look at all the symbols and timeframes that you have access to determine whether you want to take a trade or not. If you look at the 50 different Forex pairs, 20 CFDs, 9 different timeframes, well, there are more than 630 combinations to check and to go through. Do you really think that you're able to do this manually? And how often do you miss opportunities going through that many symbols? Well, today, if you're not using a scanner, or if you're trading on different instruments, you understand how to make trading profitable. You need to have different instruments. You can't just trade off of one instrument all the time, because one instrument might be trending, it might not be trending, it might be noisy or in consolidation. Well, so a scanner is a perfect solution for that, because what it does is it enables you to search multiple instruments to find uncorrelated movements and diversify your portfolio all at the same time. All right, so a market scanner really is like an automatic tool that allows you to look at the whole market at a glance for any symbol or time frame that matches your custom rules and based upon your standard or custom indicators, i.e. your strategy. You take your strategy, load it up into the scanner, and then turn it on and have it start scanning for your setup. While it's not a signal provider, it's a tool that allows you to analyze your strategies, any strategy that you want, using whatever indicator that you have at your disposal. One simple example, and I introduced that earlier, was the 2 moving average cross. The image on the right shows a list of symbols and a spreadsheet layout that shows a 1-minute column and a 5-minute column. So if you look at this, you would think, okay, the euro US dollar is bullish on both the 1 and the 5-minute time frames. Well, how do I define whether it's bullish or bearish? Well, if you use a 2 moving average cross, and I'm using a 15-minute and a 30-minute moving average, then a bullish cross is when the MA15 crosses above or greater than the 30, and a bearish cross would be when the 15-minute crosses under the 30. So you can see that the 15-minute moving average is greater than the 30 on both the 1-minute and the 5-minute, giving us a strong bullish trend on the euro US dollar. just the opposite for the pound dollar or the US dollar Canadian or the US dollar Swiss. So you can see there's a lot of information available to you. You can see that the 1 minute is starting to go bearish, but the 5 minute is still bullish on the dollar yen. This indicates two things. Number one, there's a potential reversal in play, or number two, it's just consolidation or noise, and it could resume to the longer term trend. So if this in turn goes right back to a um, green sell, this is a great re-entry of an existing trend. If the M5 turns red, then that is a great confirmation of a longer term trend that has just set up. So that's the idea behind a setup like this. So a market scanner does all the work for you because it allows you to focus on the more important things like managing your trade or getting your mindset where it belongs. Because once the scanner is set up, it searches for the conditions that meet your rules, your strategy, and can alert you when the conditions are met and are favorable for a trade entry or exit. Over on the right is another example of a EMA and price strategy. You're looking for a bullish sell on whatever time frame that you're scanning it on, where the price action is greater than and closes over the 15 period EMA. So you can see the Euro US dollar has a bullish 1 and 15 minute, but a bearish 5 minute, indicating a cycle that is moving back into alignment with a longer term trend. So this tells me that I should be looking for a continuation of my long-term trade. Same with the pound. You can see that the S&P, NASDAQ are both longer-term bearish and so forth. So there's a lot of really good information that a scanner can let you know once it triggers. Now, I mentioned multiple timeframes a lot. And did you know that if you trade using multiple timeframes, you have a higher probability of a profitable trade? And that's due to correlation. And it's just one of the advantages of using multiple time frame technical analysis. So over on the right, you can see three different time frame envelopes: 15-minute, a 1 hour, and a 4 hour. Notice how choppy and noisy the 15-minute is when compared with the 1 hour or the 4 hour charts. So if you're trading a 15-minute chart, you can see that can be pretty whippy and noisy and make you very either confused or frustrated in trying to trade that. But if you're taking these trades on these shorter time frames in harmony with the longer time frame charts, then your trades will eventually be a higher probability that you'll end in profit, and you're going to be entering with much lower risk because the trade is moving in a specific direction. You're not going to be taking trades that are going against the trend. And if you do, you know you're going to be keeping your profit targets very close, but you're going to allow the trades that are taken in the direction of the trend to stay and hold in place. So if we had a market scanner then that could search for setups that are based on our rules and verified by multiple time frame analysis, it would be an extremely valuable tool. Here's a quick example using a 4 hour, a daily, and a weekly time frame chart. You can see a setup of the symbols and a scanner setup on the left. The blue crosshatch is showing you the alignment of time and price at the point of notice, point where we got our signal. The signal is generated based upon time and price. So you can see here is a 15 period exponential moving average. So when price closes above that, that's going to give me a buy signal. It will alert me when this goes green. But I added some additional constraints. I said, okay, I don't just want to see when price is greater than the EMA, because you can see that occurs a lot and then pulls right back down under. So by itself, it's sometimes not a very good indication because chop or consolidation can really kill a trend strategy. When it does trigger, then this is a really great trending setup. You can see a short setup was here. The long setups were really bad. Short setup is good. Consolidation, good. Here's a long setup that came in and became really well. So you use other indicators to help you to smooth out that roughness. The MACD is one of those. So when you have a histogram that crosses greater than the signal line on your MACD indicator, that also is a bullish indication. If that occurs at or before or after your price action cross, then that gives you two indicators confirmation. Then if you couple that with a relative strength indicator, relative strength tells you the current strength of the trend. So if you're coming out of an oversold condition, extreme oversold, like you see right here, and it's trending in line with the direction of your trade, which means it's building strength, then that's also a confirmation trade. So at this point where the line crosses, I have a rising relative strength, I have an EMA cross, and I have a MACD bullish cross. So this is three confirming signals that tell me I want to take that as a long trade. If you use multiple time frames, that can help to keep you out of this noisy mess, because if you're looking at the MACD at this point also signaled a bullish strength, and after coming out of an extremely oversold condition, is gaining strength on the relative strength chart. So that's two more higher time frame indications that this is a good entry trade. The third and final one is the weekly chart. If you look at the weekly chart, you can see it also is coming out of an extremely oversold condition and is trending with strength. So a weekly strength trend coupled with a daily strength trend and MACD coupled with a 4-hour RSI, MACD, and price action cross gives you a confirming entry point, which in the end yielded over 200 pips of profit in the trade. So that's a nice setup, and that's what multiple time frame technical analysis is all about. And if you have a scanner then that can do all of that for you, then it enables you to trade these time frames to get lower risk opportunities and higher probability trades. And it's a powerful combination for any trader because it shows the importance of using multiple time frames in any of your trading. So if a market scanner using multiple time frame analysis is coupled with your strategy, it's an extremely valuable tool because it does all of that for you automatically. The problem that we ran into on MT4 and MT5 as professional traders is that we looked for scanners that met these criteria, but we really couldn't find any. The few we did find had the following issues. They were too complex to configure, which meant you had to be a programmer to use it. They were unstable, or maybe a single tool that was not well integrated with the entire system. They were incompatible with a lot of the available and free indicators that you find on the MT4 platform. And there are lots of other issues. And so what we decided to do is create MT4Professional ourselves. And we developed and built the scanner for our own private daily trading. And it became very, very popular. And very quickly, people wanted to have a copy on their own. So we put together the company and started to market the scanner on MT4 and eventually on MT5, and now it's the #1 market scanner on both MT4 and MT5. It's a tool that allows you to instantly scan the entire market for setups that match your unique criteria and rules. And when you find a good setup, MT4Professional allows you to enhance that with technical analysis, enable multiple time frame analysis, which really isn't that easy to do on standard MT4 or MT5. So we're going to get into that in just a little bit, but I'm going to go directly into a demonstration now. So let me launch my MT4 platform and go through this setup for you. This is a standard MT4. I'm not using MT4Professional at the point. I do have it set up as a profile, so all I have to do is click on the profile to get into that. But I wanted to show you that MT4 setup. So if you're looking at the euro US dollar on 3 different time frames, if I wanted to correlate my time frames, you can see that I have to click the middle mouse button and I only get a single window interaction. While this is a great setup of price action failure, where you can see a bottom was formed, price came right back down into that bottom and failed to produce a new low, like we saw coming in. Here's a low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. This one failed to produce a new lower low, which is a good indication of a potential reversal. That's the idea behind it. You also have a nice little head and shoulders formation here, which is also another good indication that this is turning. You also have volume coming in ahead of time, showing you that this is a build of buyers coming in, getting ready to take this as a point. So this right here is a really good opportunity for a buy. But how can I see that on the other charts unless I see the crosshairs there? I have to look at the time, I have to look at the date, look at the price, and then I have to move over to that chart, click, and then look at the same date, time, and price. Go to this chart, click same date, time, and price, and then in order to correlate that to see whether that would be a good point to take a trade or not. Not very user-friendly. Also, if you have a profile that has multiple charts or windows, here's one, for example, which if I were to look at this one, oh, I don't know. Yeah, that's a good one. See, this one has different windows that are multiple sizes. So you can see these windows are different from those. If I wanted to go full screen, I'm going to have to redraw each one of these windows manually. It's not that easy to do. And if I went into full screen mode by clicking F11, you can see there's a lot of real estate that's going to be wasted if I don't redraw those. Yeah, I could use the window function and then retile them. But since my windows are all different sizes, there's nothing available to me to resize them to make it look the same. So it's just not very helpful for me. Also, if I need to change symbols, I have to drag and drop the symbol from the left over here onto the charts in order to get the symbol displayed at the time frame I'm interested in. And so these drag and drop setups tell me that it just slows me down and helps me to have less confidence in my trade setup because it's taking way too long for me to confirm it. So, oh, sorry, clicked the wrong one. Let me go back to MT4Professional now. By launching the platform, what I do is you see I have a chart that sets up and it gives me a blank screen and it asks me for a configuration to start with. Right? These are ones that I have created myself. Down here in the presets, these are the ones that are made available to any and all people that start the platform. And down on the very bottom is the inbox. That's our network, our traders network that allows you to trade and set up the configurations that you've made with other traders that you're working with. So let me go ahead and start with the EMA and price strategy just to get it going. I have it set up on 3 different charts. Notice that the charts are different sizes. I have one large chart here that's looking at the Euro US dollar on a 5-minute time frame. And I'm looking at a 15 and a 30-minute. You can see that the EMA is a strategy that allows me to take this trade based upon these scenarios. So at this point right here, notice my crosshair. As I move it around, it dynamically updates and moves on all 3 charts, making multiple time frame technical analysis extremely easy to do. I get time and price correlation. So at this point right here, you can see that price is closed above the EMA. So I'm getting a bullish signal from my scanner indicating that the 5-minute has gone bullish. If I were to go over to the 15-minute chart, you can see at that same time frame, it is not bullish. And on the 30-minute, it isn't either. So while I have a green 5-minute, I have a red 15 and 30 telling me the trade needs more time to set up, and it keeps me from jumping into a trade that could potentially have stopped me out. All right, so the second setup then I'm looking at would be like right here. Here you get a close above on the 5-minute. I do not have a close above on the 15-minute, but I would not be above on the 30-minute either at that same point, because if you know price action, then you know that that probably wouldn't be closing If this one's not above it, then this one probably isn't either. So I would have to wait until it did close above it. And it was at this point right here then that it did close above it. So right at this point here, then you can see that now I have a close on the 5-minute, I have a close above on the 15-minute, and I have a close above on the 30-minute, giving me a nice confirmation of an entry point. So an entry signal at this point then would allow me to see a potential 13 to 15 point profit on a 5-minute chart. Trading that on a 15 or a 30 would give me a much higher potential profit on the trade setups. So that's the idea behind the scanner itself. So let me go into a full screen mode just to show you a little bit more of the features. Notice that each one of these windows automatically redrew and kept the same aspect ratio of each of my charts. That's key for me because I want to make sure that the charts stay in that same aspect ratio. When I go full screen, notice that the chart completely redraws and gives me a full layout. And when I go back into regular mode, then it puts it back for me. So it's nice to be able to have that type of responsiveness to the system, and it can give me the ability to do that. If I want to go into a full screen setup, I want to see this 5-minute chart in a much larger layout, then all I have to do is go to the tab on the bottom, double click it, and then it goes into a larger screen setup. See that? So I go full screen on the 5-minute so that I can do a little bit more analysis, draw trend lines, put some levels in and so forth. And when I'm done, just go back into normal display mode for any of the signals. Also, if I wanted to take, say, for example, a look at the oil, then if I click one time on the symbol list, it automatically changes over and switches to the oil setup. While oil had a really nice bearish run earlier, it's stabilized and it's still trading right in that same range right now. So while it looked good on the scanner, it's not looking so good on the charts. The US 30, the bonds, not the bonds, but the Dow 30, it's looking like it's starting to weaken a little bit. So you can see that the initial 5-minute is starting to go red, but the overall longer term trend is using the 15-period EMA as a support line. While that support line was broken on the 5-minute, 15 and the 30 are holding to that as a longer term trend. So this might be just a cycle of noise. It could bounce off of this as support and continue on the trend. So if that happens, this will go back green and I will get reconfirmation to re-enter that trade. The analysis is really sharp. It lets you know exactly when the signal changes and identifies the potential setup for you. So let's look at this strategy in depth and find out, okay, how does it know that this strategy is in play right now or not? So if you click the select configuration button, then we can just go into the edit mode, and that allows us to go through and edit the configuration that we have set up. Now I've defined all three of these windows in the chart configuration setup, one larger and then two smaller. Now notice that I have full interaction of this, so I can make these windows large and small as I want just by clicking them and moving them around. And I can change the time frame with simple pull down menus. And I can change the templates that are used to define how these look with simple pull down menus, or by clicking the plus sign and pulling up whatever template that I have pre-configured already and loading it that way. So it's very simple and easy to use and to follow. If you don't like the layout that's there, you can click the clear all button and it just erases them all. Then you just simply click the add chart. You take and move these to whatever position that you like, and build your charts just the way that you want to from that. Excuse me. And there you have it. You're right back to where you started from. You set the time frames the way that you liked them. and make sure that you have template that's loaded. By default, the EMA and price is the one that was downloaded from the cloud, but you can load any setup that you want to. When you're done, click the OK button. I'm not going to click that because I don't want to save any changes that might have done to this. I want to keep it the way it was. So that's the chart configurator. Over on the left is the scanner panel. Opening the scanner panel, you can go through the symbol list configurator or the scanner configurator itself. Here, this is where you define the symbols that you want to see on your list. These are the ones that I have specifically selected. If I scroll through over here and I find one that I want to add, like natural gas, then all I have to do is either double click it and it automatically adds it to the list at the bottom. If I want to move it around, then I can just drag and drop it to the location. If I find out I really don't want that particular symbol, then I can just click the X to remove it. Click this clear all to get rid of all of the symbols on the list. Or if I have another configuration that's out there that I already have built a symbol list on, then I can start from another configuration, copy that one into this one, and it automatically goes forward without me having to recreate it. It's a nice setup. Use the symbol search and the filter up here if I'm looking for any thing with gold in it. Then I type in gold and you can see all of the symbols that have gold on either the description or the symbol automatically are displayed. If I want anything with the euro, then anything with the euro symbol is pulled up as a filter. So I can pull up anything that I want to. Back to my scanner panel, then if I go into the scanner configurator, then this is where you hit where the the rubber meets the road. Here is where you define the columns. So you can see the column that's over here. I think I have this in the way. Yeah, a little bit, but you can see this 5-minute column. There's a 15-minute and a 30-minute column over here. The scanner allows you to define each one of those columns here. So if I go into a full screen mode, you can see I have a 5, a 15, and a 30-minute column. If I want to have more, then I can click more by clicking a plus sign. There's a 1-hour column. I can turn on the color rule to determine the things. And now I have a 4th column, which is scanning based upon my main CR, or the color rule to define whether it's red or green or yellow. Okay, I don't want that one, so I'll just click the X on that. To let you know how to modify these, click the pull down menu that you see as the small little caret right here, and this allows you to either turn the color rule on or off, or to edit the current existing color rule. Right now I only have one color rule, and this is it. It's the main one. So it's currently looking at the strategy for EMA and price. So I've got current price, the close has to be greater than or equal to a 15-period exponential moving average. If that's true, it will turn your sell condition green. If this is not true, then it ignores the rest of this and moves over to the condition set 2, the OR operator. And then it'll look at price and see if it's less than the 15-period EMA, which will be true because if it's not greater than or equal to, it will always be less than. And so it will make the condition turn red and you'll have a bearish output. If either of these conditions are not true, then the default color will be displayed. You can add multiple conditions here by clicking the plus sign. So if I wanted to add another moving average, say for example, I want to not only do I want to see that the close is greater than the moving average, then I want to see also if the 15-period moving average is greater than a 50-period simple moving average. Okay, let's do that. So if I take that 15-period exponential, I want to see if it's greater than, and in this case I have to add an indicator. Select a trend indicator. This is a moving average. Let's use that indicator. I want it to be a 50-period simple moving average based upon the close of price. So I'll select that indicator. Now I have a 15-period EMA greater than a 50-period simple. as my condition in addition to a closer price. So if this right here were the 50 and I had another moving average on here, then the 15 period would have to close less than that 50 in order to get a bearish, or greater than that 50 in order to keep it bullish. So if both of those are true, the output condition would be green. On the bearish side, I'd need just the opposite. I need it to be less than. So plus, pull down my menu since I've already defined my 15. I need to make sure that this is less than. And then since I've already defined it, now I can pull up my 50. So I need to see that the 15 is less than the 50 and that price is less than the 15. That's a much more bearish or bullish condition, and I like this setup of that. If either of these are not true, say for example, prices closed greater than the EMA, but the EMA has not closed greater than the 50, well, then this would be false. It would go and evaluate this. But since the close is greater than, this would also be false. So the output color would be yellow, and the condition would be telling you it's just not ready for a trade yet. You have to wait a little bit longer until the trade setup is complete. Okay. I want to hit cancel because I don't want to make these changes saved. And that's how you set that up. Notice that this is just a single color rule. So if I make any changes to it, that's just the color rule that's used for that setup. Once you have these defined, you can click this button here to turn on real-time notifications, and that allows you to turn on the notifications panel on your MT4 platform. In addition, if you set up your phone number or your Telegram account, then you can have these notifications sent to your phone via SMS or to your Telegram account live, free of charge. There are some small charges to your account if you have over 100 SMS messages per month, and that's the quota that we give you each month. Most people don't exceed that criteria, but if you do, that you can purchase additional SMS minutes at a nominal cost to supplement your account. So click the cancel button to get out of this. Once you make any changes to your setup, once you've given it a name and you've described it properly, make sure that you click the save button. The save button gives you a nice little check mark to let you know that it's been saved to the cloud and to your computer, so everything is ready to go. And you close this window, and then all you have to do is hit the load button. The load button then takes any changes that you've made to that strategy and loads it to your computer and memory, and then automatically starts executing and running the strategy setup. Okay. Any questions so far before we start going a little bit more complicated? That was a simple example. Yes, I was looking at just price action and a moving average. But let's look at more complicated one where we integrate a moving average crossover, a MACD, and maybe relative strength or a Bollinger Band or something. So let's look at my configurations and see what I've got. There's some here that have custom configurations. So if you've purchased third-party indicators, then there are ways to set those up and to use those as well. Here's one. My MACD is a 3 strategy setup. So let's go ahead and load that one. Okay, this is the one that we kind of looked at in the example. But what this is looking at is looking at a 4-hour, a daily, and a weekly chart setup, and it's trying to find whether the price action is less than the EMA, that if the MACD has crossed below the signal line, and if relative strength is falling. Well, you can see that the 4-hour is yellow, telling me that it has unmet conditions. While I see a bearish condition on price action, I see a bullish condition on the MACD. I also see kind of a neutral condition on relative strength. So right now, I don't have any type of setup on the Euro US dollar for that trade condition. So if I were to look through here a little bit more, then you can see the Euro Aussie has a nice bearish setup where you can see that price action is closed below. Here you can see that Well, that one's not bearish right there, but this one is. So I'm not sure why we got a bearish signal on the 4 hour, because this is a bullish setup. I'll have to look at the setup for that. All right. So looking at the chart setup here, then on the second time frame, you can see that that the histogram is below the signal line, and you have falling relative strength. And you can also see you falling relative strength, histogram, and price action below on the weekly. So this is in line with the longer term trend. So the Euro Aussie is definitely bearish. Oh, I can see that. See, obviously it just closed and it updated. So that first one was yellow because this one is bullish, but these two are both bearish. So we have a yellow setup here. The pound Canadian looks bearish, but overall with a longer term bullish trend, which tells us this is a reversal in happening, and you're looking for holding that on a longer time frame as a reversal setup, as is the Aussie CAD or the New Zealand Canadian as well. Gold looks like it's giving you the same type of longer term setup too, where you've got a bearish setup on the faster time frames, but a bullish longer term setup. Let's look at the configuration real quick. Looking at the chart setup, you can see I have again one large chart and then two smaller charts using the EMA MACD template. Over on the scanner, then I'm going to load the scanner itself. And you can see from these color rules that I have more than one color rule. I have the strong signal color rule running on my 4 and daily, but I have the trend color rule running on my weekly. So you're not limited to just a single color rule. If you have more than one color rule, you can run those on any column or multiple time frame that you want and have it display. So if I were to edit this color rule, then you can see I have multiple conditions set up and established for that setup. On the first condition, which is the 4 hour, I'm looking to see that the MACD, in this case is the histogram, the base indicator, has to be less than the MACD signal line in order for this first line to be true. And the second line has to be true. Price has to be less than a 15-period exponential. And the third line has to be true, which means the relative strength 2 bars ago has to be greater than the current relative strength. If you look at that on the chart, you look at the current here, and you look at the 2 bar ago relative strength, 1, 2. Well, this is greater than this, so it's trending down. So by defining that, I'm looking at the slope of relative strength going down. That's also bearish. So all three of these have to be in agreement in order for the condition cell to be colored red. If any one of these are not true, then it goes right over to condition set 2. Same thing, if MACD histogram is greater than the signal line, if price closes greater than the EMA, and if relative strength is rising, then I want the condition cell to be green. If either or of these conditions are not true, then it will be colored the default color yellow. Of course, I colored these yellow, red, and green. You can make them any color that you want, whatever suits your fancy. These are just the ones that I particularly like to use. And on my weekly chart, then I'm looking at the trend. So by looking at this one, I have my strong signal strategy turned off, and I'm looking at my trend strategy. It's simply looking that the closer price is greater than the 15-period EMA on a weekly chart. That gives me trend direction, and I always want to be trading in the direction of the prevailing trend. Okay. Any questions? Once you make changes to that, then click the Save button, close the window, and then click the load button. Then automatically will reload your settings and setups into your computer. Now, whenever you click the select configuration button and you go to edit a chart, the first thing you should notice is in the bottom right corner is a share icon. This share icon allows you to share the current configuration, my MACD, with any of the traders in the traders network. So by clicking on this icon, then I can pull up the email or name of any person within the network. All right, there's my friend Magnus. I can take and pull that up and share this configuration with him on the Traders Network. Now, if I went and did that, then let me go ahead and close this out. Then if I were to go to the configuration and scroll to the bottom, then the configuration I just shared with him would show up in the inbox right here. And all he has to do is click Create Your Custom Configuration, scroll down to the inbox, and then select the file that I just sent him. It'll say My MACD from Randy Lindsay. Okay. So I'll go ahead and close that out and not save it so that we have that set up just like that. So again, are there any questions? Well, I'll quickly go over then some of the finer settings, but I want to show you before we continue on that if you go to the MT4 website, now this is a browser that I've just pulled up, and I navigated to MT4Professional.com. Click on the sign in button, because if you've taken the trial, or if you've gotten the software in any way, you've gotten on board, then that will log you into the members area. Once you're in the members area, we walk you through 6 different steps to help get you on board quickly and easily. Steps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 help you get on board and should answer almost any of your questions. Step number 6 is the support center. It is our knowledge base that allows you to see any of the quick start videos, support, if you're using a Mac or not. It allows you to go through the software configurator and all the different steps, the scanner rules, the symbol list of the workspace configurator, and any specific member area or billing information that you might need. How to unsubscribe from your current subscription, how to update your plan or update your payment method if you change credit cards or so forth. How to resubscribe or exit the email list and so forth, how to set up your Telegram account. All of these are all within the knowledge base that we make available to you 24/7. So within the members area, we also show you the real-time scanner. If you click on the real-time scanner, then it pulls up a screen that allows you to select the platform that you're running. So notice that I have in the background, my scanner is running the My MACD signal in the background on my computer. But I need to go to lunch. So I'm going to head out, but I'm going to leave my computer running. And when I go out, I'm going to pull up my iPad and I'm going to select the account that I've got running back in the office here. It automatically creates a live copy of my MACD strategy running on my computer. I can take it with me now. I don't have to worry about missing a trade or a signal or anything else when I go to lunch. I'll get notified live in real time, either through an SMS message or my Telegram account, or in the icon right up here. This is the notifications icon that a potential trade setup is here. Excuse me. So when I see that potential trade setup, all I have to do is click the symbol here on my mobile device. It'll automatically change the symbol on my home computer, take a snapshot and send it to me. And then I will be able to see why I have a signal generated that makes it possible for me to take that potential trade. And if it looks good based upon the charts that I see right now, then all I have to do is contact my broker on my mobile device, enter the trade, and manage it once I get back to my office. It just doesn't get any better than that. You don't have to worry about the trade. You don't have to worry about stepping out or missing something. It's always going to be with you. It's as mobile as you need to be. And any of these screenshots or any of the charts that you do save can be saved in your snapshot area on the member site. You can categorize them, set tags for each one of those if you have groups of trades. For example, if you want to see items of your Tomahawk setup, then you can just pull up all of the tools that relate to your Tomahawk trade setups, the entry points, the exit points, and so forth, and then share those. If you make them available or public, then we give you a link that you can copy and share on any of your favorite social platforms or trade rooms that you might be in, just with a simple copy and paste, and then others will be able to see the charts that you just shared right there. All right, so let me go ahead and go back to my presentation really quickly because I want to make you guys an offer. There we go. Before we head out and get some last minute questions. So MT4Professional is part of a full featured platform for both MT4 and MT5. All right. We give you exclusive access to our Skype community, which is accessed 24/7. So you can talk with any of the current users who are in the system right now. We give you unlimited configuration storage, unlimited Telegram emails and push notifications, and up to 100 SMS notifications every month. You get dozens of pre-configured presets available to you. And of course, we value this at what we think it is, but for a limited time, we set that up as a monthly subscription that we charge you based upon your credit card information. But because you're part of the webinar today, then I'm knocking that monthly subscription rate down by 50% to $97 a month. Not only do you get a 50% discount that locks in for the life of your subscription, but you get a 14-day free trial to evaluate either MT4, MT5, or both if you want to check them both out to see which one works best for you. You get 14 full days to try out the software, make money, do whatever you need to do. So click the link here, mt4professional.com/trial. I'm going to put that link in the chat box so that you can click on it. It's a lot easier to click on that link or to copy it and paste it into your browser. Go to the site, enter your information, and get started on your trial less than 5 minutes from now. Once you get signed up, then you'll go over to the MT4Professional website, you'll log in, and then you'll have access to download the software from the blue bar on the top of your members area. You can download that, or from your home screen, you can just download it for whatever one that you want to use right now. You can also download it for both. If you have a live account on MT4 and a practice account on MT5, then you can run both of them at the same time. You won't have any issues with that. If you have any questions, then you can always contact us at support@mt4professional.com, support@mt4professional.com, and copy and paste that and make that available to you there. And we guarantee 24-hour support response to answer all of your questions. And if we don't reply to your question within that time, we'll reply and let you know that we're still looking for solutions to your specific question. All right, I'll leave this here for now, and I'll pull my platform back up, and I'll pull a custom configuration up for you. Select configuration. Let's see, I like to use the Hawkeye one because yeah, what it does, it gives me the ability to look at time and price. And so this is a custom configuration of a software, a third-party vendor that enables you to look at trend and momentum, volume, longer time frames all at the same time. And so notice that my scanner is scanning on multiple signals for any given time frame. So if I look at my configuration, then I edit that particular one, then you can see that I have multiple color rules, and I have multiple color rules turned on. So it's overlapping each one of those signals. So on the first one, I'm looking at the trend. This column here, I'm looking at trend. The second one, I'm looking at volume. The third one, I'm looking at the heat map or momentum of the trade. So the trend is the dots that you see here with price. This is the heat map, and this is the volume. So the output of the color rule will be based upon the signals generated by these indicators. So by quickly looking at these, you can see I want to see something that's completely aligned, where trend, volume, momentum, not only on the shorter time frames, but on the longer time frames are all in agreement, giving me a really nice potential trade. And when I get the first signal that comes in line with that, then that is a powerful entry point. Okay. So you can see the second time frame, I'm only using the volume and the heat map. I'm not looking at the trend. I'm only using volume and heat map. The third time frame, I'm only looking at volume. So I've got, less dependency on the higher time frames, but I'm still looking at volume across all the time frames because it's one of the only really truly leading indicators that we have access to. Okay, so it's real simple to set up and to use these. If you're trying to find a third-party indicator, then you simply go ahead and put that up here. You click the condition setup, you click the indicator, you choose an indicator, and then click the pick from your computer in order to define the indicator that you're looking for. So if you have a specific third-party indicator that you have access to, like here we're using the Hawkeye volume indicator. That's the Tomahawk volume. I just want the regular volume. There it is. Then I selected that indicator. Then it allows me to define the output of the indicator and any of the input requirements that are made. Most of the time you can just use this as a default, but if you don't use it as a default, then it allows you to define it as either a number or a string variable and then input the values corresponding to your input parameters. Very simple and easy to use. The most important line that you want to keep track of is the indicator to use value line. You get up to 8 output values that you can assign to this setup. And if you look at the outputs, the volume indicator has 3 outputs, 1, 2, and 3. And so each one of these outputs define the color of the output. So I'm going to cancel this out and show you how I used it in my setup. So if I look at the volume indicator and define it, then you can see that if I'm looking for a bullish setup, then that's going to be green. Then I'm looking for output volume number 1. Notice I have volume 2 and I have volume 3. Okay. Volume 2 happens to be the bearish setup, and volume 3 happens to be the neutral or white consolidation setup. So I'm looking for all 3 of these conditions. So if it's bullish, it's number 1. If it's bearish, it's number 2. And if it's neutral, then it's number 3. That's how I've defined it, and that's how the software identifies itself. So the scanner can automatically go in, look at this setup, and determine if the trend dot is green, white, or red, and change the cell color of my scanner appropriately. Automatically in real time. Are there any other questions before we head out? Again, MT4Professional.com/trial is the link to get started with your free trial right now. If you've already gotten started and you have any specific questions, now's the time to ask. That's what I'm here for. If you haven't already scheduled a session to meet with me on my calendar, then go ahead and do that, and I'll be more than glad to meet with you and to help go through getting your software set up on your computer and running, verifying that everything is working fine and going well. I just spent 30 minutes today with one of my clients, and he had a strategy that he didn't really know how to set up, so I helped him get it set up and running on his computer. And he just texted me on Skype telling me that as soon as we hung up off the phone, he got a huge signal, and he's already well into profit. So he's really, really excited and happy that we got everything set up and running today. Obviously, because not only has he paid for his first month's trial, but he's already well into his 6th month of trial setup and his first day of trading. So he's very happy about that. So you have that opportunity as well just to get started, and you can do that for 14 days and do it absolutely free. If you cancel anytime before the 14th day, you get the full 14 days and you won't be charged a penny, but it will go away on day 15. If you don't cancel before the 14th day, you will be charged on day 15, and it'll be a good charge for a full month of trading. So you can access the software for a full month just for 97 bucks. That's a great, great deal for a whole month of these advanced features and scanning, and see if it works for you. Again, MT4Professional.com/trial. Get started on your 14-day free trial and to lock in your 50% discount. And you can always ask questions by giving us a link to support@MT4Professional.com, and we'll be glad to reply back and give you the answers to your questions that you have. Right. So thank you very much for your time and attention. Appreciate it. Guys, have a great rest of your day, and we will see you here, let's see, in 2 weeks. I think in 2 weeks, it's going to be Christmas Day. So we probably are not going to be meeting on Christmas Day in 2 weeks from today, but we might shift that over and meet. Nope, that's going to be New Year's Day. So the next time that we will get together will be the 8th of January in 2024. So this will be the last webinar of this year. So thank you very much. Thank you for your time and attention, and we'll probably get an email sent out to you to let you know our new plans. Have a great rest of your day. I will see you guys next year. Bye for now.